Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier, social recruiting trainer and speaker. I'm not joined by my gorgeous co-host Audra Knight because she's off being thankful and eating plain, boring, horrible bird. Okay, maybe she's not, but I'm very thankful that I'm not having to eat turkey and that I'm joined by, is it Jan or Yan? I never know which way to say your name.
It's Jan. And I'm also thankful that I'm here. So.
Your surname though, Tegze, who is author of, you're going to point? Full Stack Recruiter, Product Placement, and of course Recruitment Manager as well. Today we are super excited to have none other than Revill on the show, who is, oh my goodness, freelance recruiter, co-founder of DBR, founder of the Growth Hacking Group on Facebook, and there's another. No, that's it.
No, it'll do. It's like enough work for me. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, longest introduction ever, this show. So welcome. So as I've got Audra to ask, other than Jan's question, which is coming, how did you end up in recruitment? Tell us your story. Tris.
I was a chef originally. I trained at the Ritz in Paris in Michelin Star Kitchen, spent 5 years doing that, and then I ended up doing corporate chefing, running a big, running 14 restaurants and 500 people team, and I found that I really liked recruitment because that was part of it. So I came back to the UK. I tried to get a recruitment job. No one would hire me. I got a sales job. Then I got a recruitment job. And here's me quite a few years later doing recruitment.
So which side did you start on in recruitment?
So I started doing broadcast recruiting, technical recruiting for broadcast companies, and so like people like the BBC, Channel 4, and also the technology providers within those companies. So agency side, I moved up to London. I was working with an agency called Propel, and I was hired to work and build a desk which specialized in emerging technologies and startup recruitment. So working with scale-ups and startups in London, building very quickly. And that's kind of where my expertise really is I can recruit anybody and at pace. And I'm currently working for Spendesk. This is the 5th.
Did you hear that? He's not at Indeed.
Yeah, I left Indeed 4 months ago.
No, people think you're still there. You're still there. Don't lie to us. What are you preferring? What you're doing now, then? In the respect of corporate to startup, not as in company, like.
Yeah, I love startups. I love startups. I'm such a startup geek. I love technology. I really loved my job at Indeed. I really loved that company and the product. And I loved my experience there. But, being in a startup where you literally have nothing, like we have an ATS, but it's just nothing. There's nothing here. There's no employer brand. There's no... There's nothing going on, right? So it's a question of really being very scrappy and making the most of what is pretty much not like as little as you've got. And it's really exciting. I'm with this startup right now. I got 26 roles on. We're just growing everything. So it's like boom. And it's really for me, that's super exciting. It means that I can just get really, really stuck into recruiting at pace. And 1 minute I'm talking to a salesperson, the next it's a director of UX, then it's a product manager, then it's a head of talent. And the variety and the pace at which we're hiring is just really, really exciting. So I do like startups a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, and you ask your question.
Wow, the one with the yellow. So why you have a yellow color behind you?
Lighting.
Well, Jan, you taught me that yellow is the growth hacker's color because it makes people click more.
Well, I just got that information from some studies and surveys or research. No, so it's not like, hey, I like, and I also like yellow color. So. It's
but you've got yellow too. Look, your whole wardrobe's yellow in the back there. No, covered. The book is yellow. Susanna's got a yellow heart there in the comments.
Exciting and wonderful. So I have a question for you. All I ever hear is recruiters complaining, I can't cope, I've got 30 roles on. Whereas you're going, I've got 26 roles on, they're all completely different, and I'm just loving it because I can get stuck in. Is this something to do with the growth hackers mindset, or?
I think it's to do with growth hacking mindset. I think it can be really overwhelming when you get all of those roles. And when my first startup was Blipper, which was an augmented reality tech company, and that was definitely overwhelming to be hiring augmented reality technical developers, augmented reality art developers, and then salespeople, operational people, finance people, all the rest of it. But that experience made me realize that the expertise that I have is recruiting and in recruitment, as opposed to being an expert within a particular vertical. Now, that can be quite difficult because I think a lot of people, and I agree with this, say that you have to know a lot about the vertical you're recruiting in, but my expertise is recruiting in the vertical of startups. And so the type of person is quite similar that you're hiring across the board. The growth hacking mindset comes into it as well, because I think a lot of like the work and the systems and stuff that I built for myself, like the way that I work and the way that I operate and the way that I optimize my time, allows me to really get to the candidate far quicker than most people. Like I don't want to say, like, I think a lot of people are great recruiters out there, but to be an awesome recruiter, you really have to like start to automate a lot of things and optimize your workflow, right? So I know that if I write an amazing job ad, and I target it in the right manner, then I'm going to get great applicants, and then I can streamline that applicant to interview. And that whole process, instead of it taking, sometimes that can take weeks in a big company, that can take me 3 or 4 hours in a small company, because I'm so nimble and so it's so much nimbler and so much more like faster moving. And so yeah, I definitely do believe that it's overwhelming, and 26 roles for one recruiter is too much. Like I turned around to the CTO just now, actually, I just came out of a meeting, and I was like, we're going to have to hire someone else just to do the technical recruitment, because to hire a software engineering manager, like, you need someone who is just working software engineering management, because they're going to have to send 40, 50 messages a week and do 10, 15 screens, and all of that has to be really tight, and you've got to coordinate the interviews and all that other stuff. The growth hacking mindset has given me the ability to automate the bits that can be automated and streamline that whole process to allow me to deliver the candidates. But I still I still believe that you need to be nimble anyway. Like, and for me, I've been doing this a while now, so I'm pretty confident that I know that I'm like, okay, this is max capacity. Like, if you put another role on my desk, I'm going to cry.
Well, I was going to ask that, because you're saying I can write a great job advert and I'll get the right applicants, but I don't believe that's true for some of those roles. But actually, you've just said, no, we're going to have to get someone to do the technical, for example.
Yeah, because those people are less likely to apply and much prefer to be headhunted. But it's all about pace, right? Like, I think a lot of recruiters find it difficult even to just build a shortlist, and whereas I can build a shortlist in 1 or 2 hours. So, because of the way I search, because of the way I extract data, because of the way that I leverage the networks that I'm using. So because of that, like I'm able to really deliver quicker, and that's purely experience. That's not even like growth hacking stuff. It's like, take the brief, do what you're told, like deliver the candidates, find the right ones, talk to them in the right way.
Do what you're told. Did Revill just say that? That's a lot.
I spend a lot of time arguing with hiring managers.
I've got a question, because you've got the experience. Well, you've got the growth hacking experience. You know how to use growth hacks, and you work recently you work for a corporation. Now you're working as a freelancer. So when you learn some basics to be a growth hacker, a few growth hacking tricks, can you use it in the corporation? Because there are so many rules. You can't do this, you can do that, because you can influence the brand of the company. Right now, you are just working for a startup, so there won't be any huge impact. But if you work for like huge corporation like IBM, Coca-Cola, etc., all the things that you are going to do could have an impact, and also the negative impact. So can you compare your experience from your previous employer and working for like the startup?
Yeah, so at Indeed, we were building massive pipelines and hiring at huge scale. So we needed the growth hacking to be able to optimize at that level of scale. Like, we were building automated talent pipelines which were activating hundreds and thousands of candidates a month and helping the recruiters make hundreds more hires than they would have been capable of making before. So that growth hacking mindset was 100% needed in the corporate as much as it's needed in the smaller business, because we're doing it at so much more scale. So you need to understand how to interpret data and trends and behaviors, as opposed to, and it's far bigger, and it's okay, it's a little bit slower moving, but you still deliver projects and you still make hires. So yeah, I think you definitely can apply it. If you're at IBM, you're going to be hiring at scale, and you're going to need to make sure that your content is high value. You need to make sure that your experience is high value, and to do that well, you need to optimize everything, right? Like, and for me, like, growth hacking is it's an optimization technique as much as anything else. Like, I can, and to give you a solid example, like, my role at Indeed as a sourcer was to strategically advise the recruiters and the hiring managers on how they were hiring and what was available to them in terms of in the market and in their own pipelines and what was going on. So that data analysis level of it and that behavioral level of things, growth hacking, understanding the market, understanding the candidate behaviors, is completely like needed in that situation, because you're doing it at so much bigger scale, so much more data. I'm looking at a pipeline of 3 or 4 candidates that we were looking there at, where we were making 3 or 4 hires a week in a particular team. So
it's also so important, isn't it, to have all of that ammunition to go into the intake meeting, and really just starting at the very beginning. If you've got all that ammunition, you can do that pushing back. If you're like, no, look, I'm an advisor, not just a admin person. I'm saying to you, this is what the market's like. We need to be flexible.
Yeah. So actually, one of the products that I worked on at Indeed with one of the product teams, with the evangelist team, actually, is a market insights and a candidate insights product baked into Indeed, which allows you to become that strategic advisor. And I think that the recruiter, I know there's lots of recruiters that are very operational and are purely focused on filling jobs, so they don't offer strategic ability. Hopefully the sourcing team there was able to empower those recruiters, and I definitely felt that's what we were achieving. And I'm lucky, right? I'm like a full stack recruiter that can walk in and do whatever I want, because I can just pick things up, and so for me, that I'm able to sit with the CEO and say, no, you need to change this now, because you're wasting business time, and you're giving a bad candidate experience. And it's really interesting, because in the first 2 weeks, that's all I've done, really. I've done a lot actually, but the first couple of days, what I was looking at was interview flows and observing interviews, and that comes from design thinking, where you go and, right, I'm going to observe and I'm going to make observations and I'm going to sit in on the interviews, and then I can optimize. And that was really key, because the moment I can if I can save a hiring manager in a startup 25 hours, then that's a new feature he can build.
Yeah. So that probably answers Lee's question. It's like, so he'd ask, can you identify what nimble means, or how you translate that into action at Spendesk? It sounds like you've just answered that. But he would love you to clarify exactly what you mean by that, by the nimble thing. But I'm sure you've just given a fine example, though.
Yeah, for me, like nimble, it's because I use the word nimble because I don't like the word agile. I think it's overused, and and so I think you need to be able to change focus quickly, and prioritize quickly, and that's what nimbleness is in recruitment. And the best recruiters I know prioritize like in a very, I was thinking in French, you're like a brutal prioritizer as a recruiter, right? You're like, I need to do this now to get to that higher. I need to do that now to get to this higher. And so you're really like, you're already becoming nimble. And for me, like that agility, that nimbleness is about like understanding where you're at, understanding your own numbers, understanding where the pitfalls are within your process, and then kind of, you know, push people towards different things. And yeah, like today, like I'm like, it's Friday, I need to get job ads out. So when people are coming to me like, can you help me do this? So there's two priorities that I'm focused on a Friday, always as a recruiter. Make sure I reject all my candidates. Make sure that, yeah, the social recruiting show every Friday at 2 o'clock. That's all I do. The thing, my goal on a Friday as a recruiter is always to like make sure that everyone in my pipeline is at the point where I know where they're at, and I know what my pipeline looks like, I know what my numbers look like for the week, and then make sure I'm advertising everything for over the weekend. I sit down on Monday and I've got more candidates.
Yeah, that's fair. So I'm curious, because you're very focused on how you're being. Where does the actual human fit in this, the candidate? Because I mean, Debbie's asked a great question, so do you measure candidate experience? But I'm just curious where the human is in this. Am I making sense? Maybe not.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
I think
it's show on Friday.
I think the human actually, I think it's a really interesting question, because the human is at the center of all of this. And one of the things that I've learned this year, getting really interested in growth hacking, more than I was for the few years beforehand, is that the authenticity and the voice and the content is a very human thing. And I'm very keen on making sure that the voice and the culture and the company is represented, and the humans in that team are represented in the right way. And if you look at if you go and look at Spendesk, for example, activity and content on LinkedIn, one of the things that they did was they did a bunch of very short videos of the human elements of the business, and those short videos showcase the human bit, so that and then you just using the robots to get that in front of the right people, right? Like that's what it's about.
No robots being used on LinkedIn. What are you doing?
So basically, what you are saying, the storytelling is one of the most important thing for grow hackers, because you are telling the story to the candidate. It's about humans. Be human, right? And so it's basically showing the human side of the business in the way that the candidates are understand it. So it's not like the buzzwords or the technical terms, etc. So it's also going to help you to grow hack, and it's basically the easiest grow hack ever. You know, just say the story. We tell the stories for centuries. So.
Yeah, and you can prove it with data, right? Because you can take the job ad that someone has written, which feels like a corporate job ad, and then you can take the other side of it, which is the optimizing of the job ad. And if you optimize your job ad, you take it away from that corporate to a human voice, right? And what I've been testing all week, like job ads, just to mess around. And I wrote a job ad with 2 paragraphs, and that got more successful applicants than the 2-page job ads that they have currently. And I can go back to the business and prove that to them with the data.
Yeah. So what did the 2 paragraphs say? Like, nutshell, obviously don't read out the 2 paragraphs, but what was special about them?
This is you, and this is what you're going to do.
That's it. No explanation of Spendesk, just
Yeah, because
Like,
people are so blinded by content, right? Like there's so much content out there. If I'm looking on a job board, it's got the company information. I can click on the link because I can click on links. I can click on the link to go and read that.
We've been clicking on lots of links today. They're Black Friday sales. Dreadful. Anyway, sorry. But that raises a really good point, though, where it comes back around from clicks the link and then sees the people. Do the people look approachable? Does the company look approachable? The stories you've just gone back to, what are they saying? That, yeah, they're doing all that. And then, like you said, successful apply. Lee's written here, what is Spendex's, I can't say this, Spendesk's story, and how do you tell it or sell it?
That's a great question. I wish I could tell you exactly how I sell it, because I think I always change my pitch, right? You adopt to the audience. Yeah. So if you want to come and be a head of talent at Spendesk, then the reason why you're going to be interested is Spendesk is a software which empowers teams and empowers finance teams to spend money. And if you're in a business which is empowering people, if that's their core mission, then that's very attractive. If I'm talking to a senior Python developer, that's not the story I'm going to tell.
So what would you say then? We're putting you fully on the spot.
So Spendesk technically is very interesting because it's almost a middleware technology between the finance and the banking world, and it enables payments to be made better. So that's a technical challenge, which is far more interesting. And I'm going to talk about the fact that we empower people, but the developer is going to be more interested in, like, yeah, we're making 100,000 API calls on banks every hour.
Right. And then how they can grow and fix the problem.
Yeah. Actually, we need someone to come and build that.
Yeah.
Because it actually doesn't work yet.
Love it.
So if you could come and build that, that'd be great. I think that's the other thing as well, is we always advertise that that companies have a very, with rose-tinted glasses, we're blinded by the brand. I stole that from Billy, by the way. He was on my show last week. And really what most people and what people like Candidate ID have found is that everyone is more interested in either the human or the challenge stuff.
Sorry, they're interested in what, sorry?
They're interested in the human elements or in the actual challenges of the job. Like, especially when you get to this kind of, this level of role, which is, you're going to come in, be autonomous. There's 50 people on the team. We're servicing 900 clients already. We're going to be servicing 1,800 by the end of February. Like, yeah, we need someone to come build stuff fast now, please. Ahead of talent. Who wants to do all the hiring?
Are you like demoting yourself out of that role or something? I'm confused.
I really want to be here to build them the stuff that that they need, but I really, my personal situation means that I want to go traveling and build other things and do other stuff as well. So I don't see, and I've had that conversation with them already, and that's why I'm interviewing for that role, is because I want to. And I think this comes from me. Like, I learned this. I learned this when I was in sales, actually, that like replacing yourself is key to your own success. And I really feel like replacing myself will be the greatest story that I can tell. It's like, I walked in, I helped them hire 15 people. I made 3 offers in the second week, and then I offered the head of talent, and now they're 190.
Yeah. So are you finding it quite hard to hire that person? Because are you looking for that growth hacking mindset that very few?
I think I'm really demanding. Like, I think it's recruiters out there that are already and have been applying growth hacking methodologies for years, right? New in the recruitment world. It's just, I think the growth hacking recruiters group and Jan's prediction at the beginning of the year kind of formalized it.
Okay, hang on. What was Jan's prediction? So that for those that don't know.
So Jan wrote a blog post on SourceCon predicting that it wouldn't be blockchain or AI that would take over recruitment this year. It would be growth hacking.
Right.
What do you think, Jan?
Well, I only can say that I see the future, so that's all,
Yeah, tell us in your words what you mean. Actually, to be honest, have we even defined what growth hacking means? Because I would say I read your blog, but not everyone will have read it.
Yeah, I mean, I can. For me, like, I think, like,
marketing and, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been messing around with this for ages in terms of what is a growth hacking recruiter, and it's all about, for me, it's all about mindset. Someone who curiously and confidently leverages media, technology, data to hit hiring targets with a minimal financial investment. They help companies hire more effectively with fewer resources than their competition. And a growth hacking recruiter is someone who's mastered the art of recruitment and mastered the art of content and target with job seekers at scale. Like, that's what it's about. So I wrote a kind of mission statement for the growth hacking recruiters this week. And for me, it's someone who persistently chases growth, who designs for people, who tests ideas, who builds on failures, who uses data and leverages it, who listens to feedback, and who automates. That's pretty simply put. And I think that there's actually a lot of people out there that are doing that and have been doing that for a while.
There are a lot using like LinkedIn Recruiter who don't even pull the data off it.
Yeah, and it's our job but it's our job to make those people better, right? Like, one of the things, like, it's up to us to make them awesome. I think that, like, I think that a lot of recruiters aren't trained properly. They have the wrong people that are managing their teams. I think I've said that in the comments before. Like, I think that like I learn a lot of these techniques. I was lucky to work with some awesome teams through my career, but a lot of these techniques I picked up from reading people's books, from reading your blog posts, Jan. Like, all of this stuff is stuff that I've learned, and I feel that it's,
you have that curiosity. I always go back to that one. I don't think that all recruiters have that curiosity to learn, that curiosity to do things better, that want to do things better necessarily. I don't know. I know you said a lot of people doing it. I'm not convinced.
So you can replace the curiosity to in the feeling that you are trying to beat your competition and be better. So you don't have to be like curious about it. You just need to, okay, so if John has, I don't know, better views, more likes, so I would like to beat him. And you will just start testing and do the things because you are trying to be better than somebody else. You don't have to be curious, but you can learn in that way to be just a little bit curious.
Okay, so there's you and I on Instagram, and I've got 100 followers and you've got 2. You have to be curious why I've got to 100, therefore how to go past.
No, I will just go and buy followers somewhere from China and I will beat you for $5. No problem.
Yeah, and you're hilarious. I was being serious.
Do you know what? Actually, like, it started like that. When we were at List, we were working, it was me, Matt Bradburn, Deanna, and Matt Buckland. And one of the things that we used to just compete on the team for who was going to get the most followers, like, and what we were using. And that's when I learned how to insert JavaScript onto the Twitter page to mass follow, mass unfollow, mass DM, all that kind of stuff. Like, because I wanted to beat the other people.
But you had the curiosity to go learn it. That's what I'm getting at. I'm just not convinced that all recruiters have that drive. Maybe we're hiring the wrong people.
I think that's a problem with leadership in the recruitment industry, personally.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still thinking about my 10 p.m. WhatsApp message I got from one the other night, just going, it's 10 p.m. I can't believe I just sent that. Someone here in London.
Lee asked a question in the comments. So, like, is my position as a recruiter spend less focus on ads, content, or picking up the phone and making cold calls? I'm going to tell you that I did all 3 this week, and I sent 140 direct messages to new source candidates, of which I'm sitting at about 60% response rate. at the moment. None of them were on LinkedIn as well. I don't send in mails. I think that's crap. So like I think that when you start to optimize your time and your performance as a recruiter, like all of these kind of things of what channel or are you cold calling have become irrelevant questions, because I'm doing everything I can to get the candidates across the door. Like that's my job.
Can we go into the call thing? Because I really seriously don't have an issue. You ring me, I answer the phone, I'm giving you permission to speak, and as long as I'm considerate of the fact you're probably in an open plan office, etc., I don't really see what the big deal is. I never even called cold calls. What is your personal opinion on it? You're hands-on doing it. I haven't done it in a few years, but I
did about 12 cold calls this week. All of them picked up the phone. 2 of them were pretty knocked off their chair that I had the balls to call them in. By the way, this was in French, not in English. Yeah. So, but I found it online, and I
was just going to say, we should explain. Tris is currently living in Paris. Hence, before when you got a bit confused, because you're now you're speaking French all the time, aren't you? So.
Yeah, it's mostly 90% French at the moment. So my brain is flipping between the 2 languages, which is weird. I dream in French now.
That's amazing.
What language do you dream in?
Me or who?
Yeah.
Well, me Chinese, because I can even understand my dreams, so probably it's Chinese.
I definitely dream in English. Right. There is no other language going on in his head. So, but yeah, so you made a cold call to someone in French, and 2 of them thought that was audacious. Why?
Yeah, I mean, out of like 12 or 10 or whatever, I think, as you say, you've got to do it in the right way, right? I call up and I talk very quickly for the first minute, and I'm like, hi, I'm calling from this company. This is who I am. I know you're at the office. Are you able to speak to me?
It's no big deal, is it?
I think, if you're in a bigger brand, it can be detrimental. And just to, not to call out, there's a big tech company in Ireland, in Dublin, who were cold calling onto the desk of the sales guys in India.
Right.
Destroyed their brand.
Right.
That was really not smart. But if you're calling on someone's personal phone number that you've got, do it. I mean, and I think a lot of people are nervous about it in terms of the.
I would.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not ballsy enough to call into the office. And normally normally people can find the person.
Don't you miss the day?
No, I can normally find the person.
Say, I'm chasing an invoice, and they would put you through to accounts. You'd be like, no, I was after Tris. I don't understand why I've come through here. And they just transfer you, and then, hi, Tris. It's really ballsy. You're on your work phone. You can't speak. There's people around you. However, what's your personal number?
Yeah, I tell you, the worst thing I ever did was in my first agency. They were proper gung ho, and I cold called onto a desk pretending I was from the person's school, because I figured out they had kids, and said that we'd lost his phone number and they had an emergency in the school. That's really bad practice. Don't teach your recruiters how to do that. That's terrible.
Oh my God.
But I think some of the sources and the sourcing community are getting really, really deep into OSINT, the open source intelligence stuff, and getting almost private detective level skills of intelligence gathering and social engineering. And I've read the social engineering books, and I think that's really, really interesting. I think for me, that's a really interesting techniques to be used as a recruiter. It also scared the hell out of me, and I don't think everyone should learn it. And I think that's where you go back to that idea of recruiters are curious. That's almost good, because if all recruiters were curious, they would have gone and learned social engineering and would be playing soundtracks of babies screaming in the background when they're calling to get people's numbers.
Oh yeah, but it's still if you're going to ring antivirus, you're going to have Duran going in the background, right? Come on. Nothing wrong with that. But I guess so going back to the curious thing. So, and I still think that recruiters will take the lazy route most of the time. So there was article that got posted in the Growth Hacking group about another way to uncover everybody's email addresses. And then I hear Hung's like, oh, I'm going to go and share that out on Brain Food on Sunday. And I'm like, no, please don't do that. It'll just be more recruiters spamming and we have enough noise. It's like, so, I don't know how you do what you're doing and stop that as well.
So what about this? Like, those recruiters that are going out and spamming more and more using those techniques are just going to destroy their own brands and run out of money.
But it doesn't just destroy their brands. It destroys the industry. So, a classic thing, type into Google, recruiters we're not well looked at. People don't want to talk to us. So it's just creating more noise. So it's not just their brand.
Well, it's not about the brand. And they are definitely going to destroy the business. But that's the reason why so many people are trying to become like the influencers, trying to get the visibility, because right now you can find any email address, or you can guess. You can find any information about everybody. But the problem is that the people are more lazy, so they are expecting that they will get it one click. They are not going to do the work. The recruiters who are going to do the work will get some kind of advantage against others. Plus, what is really cool is when you go to the visibility, you are going to be you are going to start attracting the candidates. So like candidate magnet, you turn your brand into candidate magnet. And everything I basically post on LinkedIn or everywhere is doing something. Mostly it's attracting candidates for the company I work for, or some people who are curious. So if I'm sharing, I'm also giving some ideas how to use some things, but I'm never share the super cool stuff that I don't want to share. I can tell you how to find the people on, I don't know, WordPress, Medium, whatever site. But
I did like that. Great blog.
Thank you.
Must check my own to see what I'm oversharing.
Well, yeah, and it's when you start learning about the WordPress, you also find the different way. That's the curiosity. You know how to hack the WordPress with 2 clicks very easily and get the list of all users.
Terrifying.
So there are so many things, and as Tris mentioned, the OSINT is a really cool thing, and but it will be cooler if there will be like sourcing games how to hunt the terrorists, and in the real life, like the Bellcat group is doing. So the curiosity and the brand is going to win, and is definitely going to beat any AI, because AI right now is really stupid. Not the idea, but the AI. It's like the chatbots. They are always offering you the answers yes or no, and when you type maybe, you will get the error. So the curiosity and the not the brand but the influence is going to play. Is going to play big part. So
yeah, I get you. Lee's written a great question here. How do people recruit before the advent of the internet, Google or LinkedIn? They had little black books. Back in my agency days, we had a little black book, and our clients could not get hold of our little black book, so we could charge big fees. And companies had to pay. And that's what, obviously, the internet appeared, and that's why I ended up teaching what I teach. So I don't know how you guys want to answer that one, but...
I learned how to recruit being a chef, so people used to walk in the door and give me their CV.
That still happens in that world, to be fair.
That's pretty much exactly what happens in 90% of those kind of jobs, right? And you put a little advert on the front saying we're looking for chefs, or we're looking for waitresses.
Like the locksmiths in the village has got one. The bus that goes past, we're always looking for drivers. Yeah, old school. But yeah, I mean, I definitely started recruiting before LinkedIn appeared, that's for sure. Did we have Google? Yes, we had Google.
I remember before Google, Alta Vista, but I wasn't recruiting at that time.
Jan wasn't born yet.
I think, the thing is, right, it's really funny that those old school techniques of going to events still works. Going and in the pub next to where the office of the big company that you're trying to get the employees out of still works. You're going to get a certain type of person, but there's no reason why you can't stick an advert on the bus stop in front of Facebook and and in Dublin and hire people. Like that still works. And what's really funny I've noticed is that these things are coming back and being brought up as techniques when they're really old school techniques. And I really feel that about even some of the growth hacking stuff. Like, this isn't, again, I'm going to say it again, this is like, it's 2018. This stuff has been around for like 5-6 years. Nick Marsh wrote in 2014 that recruiting is waterfall in an agile world and needs to change. It needs to be hacked. That's where the talent hacker came from, and growth hacking recruiters is the evolution of the talent hacker for me.
Yeah.
So, and before that, people were using every means possible to fill their black book of contacts. Well, that's all I'm doing. Do it at a way bigger scale, right? Like, I get 100,000 views instead of 10.
So I trained one of the NHS trusts who struggles to get mental health nurses. And this is the nurse that did this, or nurse manager. She went into the other hospital, into the staff room, and stuck a note on the back of the toilet door. Like, we're hiring. Apply here. Seriously. Because they're that desperate. And it just...
But it works because you know where your audience is, and you go to the audience and you give them the message. And like, for me, that's the key here, is like, understand what your audience are up to, who are the people that you're hiring, be human, go and talk to them.
So we do that every time, right? We should point at the little toy at the book.
Be human.
That way. Vanessa Rath had a paper CV from a walk-in this week. That's amazing. Go Joe Berg. So, other than that, I'm telling Sophie she's too young to possibly be saying all the things she's doing.
I mean, we were still getting paper CVs when I was working at List. People were walking in with their CV.
Yeah.
So I think it's the brave thing, right?
Yeah, that to me is still the actual problem with recruitment. So, we've started talking about AI before, and it's gathering data. Well, what's it gathering data on? Someone's ability to write that CV. So I think I say that practically every show. Until we solve that problem.
It's about the keywords. It's not about writing the CV, because we are becoming keywords. If you use the right keywords, you can trick any AI. I can get the job or be selected by Google, Facebook, or any company they're using, just because I'm going to put the right keywords based on the LinkedIn profile people that are already hired, because they are training their AI on their profiles. So if everybody is from Cambridge, I will put the Cambridge there. Boom. And I'm going to get an invitation from them.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
I'm getting further and further into the dark here. I really should turn to lamp on.
Oh, you are in the so that's the dark web. Everybody talking about, right?
It's really dark outside. I forgot the time difference. I didn't switch the light on, and I can't really get up and turn it on. So, your host disappears. I just sit here leaning forward. It's quite funny. Hey, that worked. That was called subtle. I was thinking subtle. Thank you. Yeah. Rather than just yell out and say, "Can you turn the light on?" Oh, it's quite funny. Sorry, I'm being rude. So, Jan, have you got any questions for Tris? You usually have curveballs. Oh, you two started the group together, didn't you?
Well, he started and he just told me, like, hey, you will be admin. I was like, oh, yeah, sure, why not?
Is he a good admin?
The idea, I think I read that prediction, I was so pissed off at Jan, because I was like, dude, this has been around for so long. And then I realized that what we haven't done is documented or shared the tips. And we didn't share the techniques and build frameworks that scaled it to other people. And I really feel honored to have been joined by Jan in this journey. It's an amazing person. I'm not been doing this that long, really, compared to a lot of people. So to have people like you both involved in it and contributing stuff that needs to be said, and also pushing back and being like, a lot of growth hacking comes from the black hat, dark web world of pretty creepy, nasty people doing weird stuff on the internet and spamming people. And I'm just trying to kind of make that, I think that the voices of like be sensible, be human, be be nice. I mean, I'm a pretty fiery person, so I can get pretty mad, and I'm lucky to have Sophia and Jan to kind of calm me down. And actually, the admin crew is going to grow to 10 of us in the next couple of weeks. We're going to announce that. So there'll be more people, and it makes it more safe for everybody, really. And I think that this is the second recruitment community I'm involved in building. So it's lessons learned and failures from before.
Yeah.
So are we going to build the dark web grow hacking recruiters, or it's not on the table anymore?
That's a sequel one.
Yeah, sorry.
Really special people who know how to even find that. See, I still think you guys are way ahead. And sometimes I just go to teach some people how to source on LinkedIn, and they're just like, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, oh my God, been doing this for 10 years.
I had a recruitment agency this week send me a lady's profile for the head of talent job, and she hasn't even got a picture on our LinkedIn profile. And I was like, how dare you send
Oh,
me
hang on. Is she a second level connection? Because LinkedIn hide. Unless she's a first level connection, you might be able to see it. LinkedIn is actually hiding photos. It's ridiculous. Just possible.
I didn't think of that. Maybe that's true. No, I mean, I'm connected to her, so no.
It's just first level and you suddenly can see it. I find it's ridiculous because people don't know. They think their photo's public and it's not. Stupid LinkedIn setting. I'm really so excited they're bringing events back. It was about 10 years ago and I went, what the actual F are you doing? But anyway, I had to laugh. Let's make a big announcement. We're bringing back a feature we should never have got rid of.
So I've got one question, and Tris, you're probably the right person to answer it. How to start with the grow hacking? Because, so many recruiters, I always ask hey, I would like to get lots of reviews or likes for my post, but that's not only one thing, because it's not going to make any impact. But so many people are always like, how can I start with grow hacking? Of course, join the group on the Facebook. That's step one. But how to start it in general?
So every week, read the Full Stack Recruiter.
Buy the book.
I think the way that it started for me, the way that it started for me was looking at the data and actually understanding, just doing this very simple thing of looking at how you personally have performed over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and say how many phone screens, how many offers, how many hires. Write that down, and then you see a trend, and then you try and optimize, and you try and do one-on-one, and you try and make it a little bit 1% better every week. That's without doubt the easiest way to start building the mindset of a growth hacker, because you become self-aware of your own data and your own performance. That's 100% the easiest way to build it. From there, you say, I want to get people to come to you and say they want to get loads of views and they want to get lots of inbound and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. One of the things that I've learned teaching people over the last couple of months is that actually just posting is the start. Like, a lot of people overthink that first post, overthink that, those first things. Just posting will break the seal that allows you to build after that. And the third thing that we never talk about, and I think that's really, really important, is contribute in the comments. Because actually, my personal brand was built tweeting back at people on Twitter hashtags. I didn't have a massive but because I was getting involved in the conversation with my tiny little 2 pence, or saying, no, you're wrong, someone's wrong on the internet, that's Lee,
because he has 26 jobs on, he's doing the best he can.
I was just reading that comment and I'm like, are you serious? Do you have any idea?
Come on.
Get this week I've done 46 phone screens.
I know.
you later.
You didn't hand it to the agency, right?
I didn't want to interview her anyway. She was rubbish.
Oh, it's really cute. Oh, he's a toughie, that lady, I tell you.
Yeah. I think like start with the comments. Like you can build a massive personal brand
as well, because there's no point just liking a post on LinkedIn or just favoriting a tweet. You have to write a comment. I mean, one, there's no visibility on LinkedIn if people don't comment. So yeah, retweet with a comment or ask, add, start a conversation. And you're right, you don't have to agree, do you? It's perfectly fine to have an.
No, I think we've gotten a little bit, and I think people are too nice to each other at the moment on the internet. I think we should bring back some more of that kind of like, oh man, we used to have massive long Twitter battles with Buckland on. I think I've had long Twitter battles with both of you too. Like probably before you even knew who I was.
Just stop that. Sorry, do not delete the comment. So that's something as well, though. So I called out that sourcer from Twitter who was complaining about candidate ghosting and showed an example of a feedback from Glassdoor where they had ghosted a candidate. And she ended up deleting the whole page. That's not how to handle that. She could have just said, oh, my God, I was unaware of these. I'm going to go sort this out. We need to make changes. And everyone would have gone, wow, how good are they? Not delete the whole post. Sorry. I do argue with people on the internet, Therese, because I can't.
I think that's really difficult for a lot of people, especially in recruitment, where we're told that we have to fit into HR and be under the brand and do all this kind of stuff. And that, yeah, and you're like imposed with this kind of like concept of what a recruiter should be and what a HR person should be. And actually, I'm sorry, but that doesn't work. Like, and it's not working anymore. That's why people hate recruiters, is because they feel that they're not having any personality, really. Like that. So if you want to get started, and to be honest, that's really, really hard. I find that impossible. Like I find myself double questioning myself all the time about what I should say, what I shouldn't say, and I'm constantly evolving myself and building myself. Like people laugh when they find pictures of me with no beard on the internet. Like there are pictures of me with no beard on the internet, but like I'm actually like
no beard. I've seen you with much longer beard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like that confidence is like it's a personal journey, and it's really candidates really genuinely like that, and I've had conversations with candidates who followed me on, have known me for years, or like genuinely I had this conversation this week with a managing director of a company who was like, Tris, I'm so happy that like you've grown into such a big person, and I've watched that evolution, because like when that's the most human thing ever. Is like, I went from working in an agency in Bournemouth to working for a D.com. Like people really respect watching that, and they really respect me sharing the thing. They don't remember the shitty tweets and the drunk tweets and the crappy comments. They remember oh my God, like this guy is like so driven and like has pushed himself so hard, like, and I think we're all in that situation of like everyone in the comments, like I hope you agree that like you're all growing, we're all humans, we're all like we're all kind of like developing, and we need to open that up.
I think being older and I'm much more confident in my skin, I'm quite happy to share. I've talked about my child abuse openly and all this kind of stuff. I'm very happy to say my journey, happy to say I was broken, happy to say all the work I've had to do to run a business. Happy to say sometimes I'm still like going, why am I still in startup? Shit like that. I'm fine with that. But do you think that's some of the pretense that's come from social media? I walked past I think she was 9 or 10-year-old girl the other day, and she was using a really horrid word to describe this boy because he had no videos, no likes, no nothing. And I'm just going, I won't be his friend. And I'm like, is this what social media has done? It's created such a pretense that we can't be ourselves. We're too scared to be vulnerable because people will go, and he's written that book and no one's bought it.
Oh, how you know that? How you know that nobody bought my book?
Just checking. Wait.
The problem is that we are seeking for value from people we don't care and we don't like, and we turn the things into likes. So right now, I've got 100 likes. People love me. Probably no, because somebody just click and somebody else click it because their friends click on that. But that's the reason why I basically suspended all my accounts on Instagram, because there was one moment in my life that I realized that I'm posting the things because I would like to get likes. When I realized that, I just basically delete everything or postpone it or maybe delete it.
It's an endorphin reaction, isn't there?
Yeah, it's because,
from a being vulnerable point of view, I think that's what Tristan's referring to. Do you think that's where social media has made it worse because it's so fake out there? A bit like all the airbrushing.
I think if you don't see that it's fake and you think it's real life, then you need to reality check yourself.
Yeah.
It's like on LinkedIn. Everybody's trying to get a post with the most number of likes, shares, etc. And I'm always looking for a number of views because that's the impact that I'm doing. If somebody give me the like, I was like, okay, so you liked it. Thank you. You are sharing it. That's great. But if I would like to do or make some impact, it's about the views. How many people are going to see it or at least see it. But everybody is looking for likes because that's the dopamine injection.
I'm looking for comments because the comments make the visibility better. Please write comments. Right, before I forget, next week we have Audra, and I can't pronounce his surname. It's sorcerer extraordinaire, who you will all know. I'm not allowed to say what company he's from, and I can't pronounce his surname. So by next week, I'll have learnt that. So I just wanted to throw that in. Audra will be back. I'll be here. Okay, sorry. Just had to throw that in because we're have 4 minutes left.
I like Andre. He's showing loads of cool stuff in Sources of Code, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be very, very cool. Yeah, I've got his little video from YouTube to watch. Not from YouTube, from Jim streaming it to watch as well. Very smart. So
this is the thing, right? This is 2018. You can go on the internet and learn how to code from other sources that are learning how to code. So recruiters can now code, that's normal. If you can't get your head around how to attract people, then what are you doing in this job? Seriously, go find another job.
They want to learn.
If you don't want to learn, I'm seriously that's the thing. You're going to be replaced by an AI. The reality is
no way. I'm not going to. Yeah. I will create my own CAPTCHA and stop every AI. So
it's really funny. I swear, when I get to the bit in the book that's about the outreach piece, or that first contact piece, as I'm calling it, I am actually going to write, seriously, none of this is going to work if you don't read all the chapters before. Because I know what recruiters are like. They'll go straight to I just want to know how to write that email. No, that's not the point. Anyway, if they want to be robot-proof, they're going to have to read the rest of my book. Anyway, I'm ranting. So is there something you would like to say in your last minute? Anything that you've just thought, I had to say this and I haven't, just...
I think if you work in-house, you should sign up for DBR community on Slack. If you want to learn more about growth hacking recruiters, you should go to growthhackingrecruiters.com and sign up, or come and join us on the Facebook group. And if you want to come and see me muck up.
I did that the wrong way around. Sorry. Is it growthhackers.com?
Growthhackingrecruiters.com.
Sorry, it's Friday.
That's all right. If you want to come and watch me be an idiot on the internet, I'm Trish Revill, TRISREVILL, and I've got .com with my name on it.
Right. I do, but
thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, and thank you, Yanni, for filling it in for Audra. She was here briefly, but she disappeared back to the turkey. To be fair, she's eating curry, but Thank you, everyone, for being chatty in the side channel, and of course to Lee for those very challenging questions as ever. And we shall see you guys same time next week. Thank you again, Tris and Jan. Appreciate it. Bye.
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 Thank you.